This is an unboxing, installation, and review of the AMP BedXtender HD Max. Now, I towed around a stroller in the back of my truck, on top of that groceries and things like that. This bar doesn't really work all that well. Things just fall over top of it and come slamming into the back of the truck. When you hit the brakes, it's really annoying. So let's go ahead and we'll get this unboxed and you'll see exactly how this will help out going forward. So here you have your corners. We'll just lay those out. Here you have your crossbars, your mounting hardware, now the first step is to go ahead and remove your tail lights. The instruction manual says these are Phillips heads. They're actually on my truck were Torx heads. There's two of them. You pull them out and then just wiggle the tail light. It'll pop right out and you can just leave it dangling off to the side. That'll expose the back end for the brackets where you'll need to thread that nut onto the bolt. The next step would be to grab the template they provide you for the layout. The instructions here tell you to tape it on and go through all of that. I just held it up, marked out my spot with the drill bit, started the hole, and then pulled the template away and used it like that. It worked out fine. You can do it either way. The first hole you're going to drill is going to be an 1/8 inch. That's just a pilot hole, and then you're going to come back around with a 21/64 drill bit, and that's going to get the hole big enough to fit the bolt. And then the next step is going to be to just hang this bracket up. You're going to put the bolt through and then just thread the nut onto the rear. Just kind of hand tighten it down for now. At this point, you're going to have to just mark out that second hole location. Again, you're going to drill your pilot hole and then come back through with the larger 21/64 and get that opened up to get that next bolt in. And then we'll go ahead and we'll torque everything down to 22 foot-pounds. This is the hardest part of the entire installation. I would recommend using a pair of channel locks to hold that nut on the back side. I didn't have any on me at the time, so I just used another socket, and it was a little tight for that. But go ahead and do both sides, and then you can go ahead and reinstall your tail lights. And with both brackets installed, we can go ahead and start assembling the BedExtender. Now, the first step in assembling the BedExtender is they give you this 7-inch template for the extension tubes to mark some tape lines. That's just so when you put these all together, you kind of have a rough idea of where you're at for centering. I just used some Scotch tape to mark those lines. And then remove the plastic uprights, and then we can slide everything together. These center tubes are actually a real tight fit. You just have to wiggle them around a little bit, make sure you're paying attention to your tape lines to make sure that they're centered. You just got to kind of wrestle around with it and get it to slide down in place. It took me a few minutes. And then before you tighten down those plastic uprights, just put it in place, make sure everything's where you want it to be. Take those uprights, pull them apart. They're real easy, you just slap them right back over top. And then you're going to go around and tighten down each side, which has 5 T25 Torx head screws. Just tighten them all down, and that's all it is. All in with filming and everything, this took me about an hour to install, and I have to say this is one of the best additions, aside from probably the running boards that are on my truck, to be able to keep cargo in place. You can throw the stroller in here. It fits absolutely perfectly. Literally, there's like no room to spare. Later on, the same day, I threw some groceries in there. They stayed put. It is a great addition to the truck. On top of that, the 6.5 foot bed is now capable of hauling around a full 4x8 sheet of plywood without having to get crazy, either leaving the tailgate up or worrying about them sliding out the back. So the other nice thing about this is that it is removable. So if for whatever reason you had something that you needed to pull this out, really easy. It just pops right out. It weighs next to nothing. You can throw it off to the side and then throw it back in later. On top of that, this BedExtender also has some straps that you can use and hook it right up to the tailgate latches and cinch it down so that it will not move at all. So again, this is a great addition to my truck. If you want more information, you can check the Amazon links below. one last thing worth mentioning is that this will work with tonneau covers. Mine worked with my Lund tonneau cover fine, required no adjustments, but if there are some issues, this thing does have adjustment to fit any tonneau cover from what I understand, but you want to double check that before making the purchase. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.